All right, guys. So this is what I wanted to do. For this session, you need to hear the real sound of the studio and the real sound of the instrument. So I decided to switch my sound. Whenever I'm talking, I'm going to use this mic. Whenever I'm playing, I want you to hear the actual sound of the studio. So when I play, you'll not hear my voice. So this is what is going to happen. I have one of my kids who I have to work on their songs, okay? Somebody wrote a comment to us that we should teach them how we do the worship, right? And how the panning concept, okay? And that's what I'm going to do today. So I have one of my girls, their song that I have to work on. And so I'm going to use that as an example, okay? So let's listen to her voice. Listen to her voice just by itself. This is her voice alone. Okay, again, you can't hear, so I have to switch the sound before you can hear.
There would my tree, I am a fed do. Dear, why am I a bromentia so.
All right, cool. So as you guys can tell, with this, sorry, I had muted it at first. So she's singing the Audi Mabe Dunia Yeme Fedo, okay? So we are going to talk about it. The person asked, how do you do the worship, right? So the first things first, you need to have a very good keyboard player. For me, I'm not so much great, and so I always give my worship to other people to play for me. But for the purpose of the lesson, I have to play so I can explain it to you. So first things first, you need to have a very good keyboard player who can play the strings very well and the stuff very well, okay? And once you have that, everything else is pretty much, it works out for itself, okay? So that is the first route to the first cut to the chase, whatever, okay? Now, once you do that, it's just all about understanding what you have to do. So first things first, I want to explain something. So say I was doing a worship song, right? And I was doing the pads, and then I did the pads on the main thing. Then after that, I used like, let's say, how do you call it? I use like maybe other strings. Then that means I will play it differently and I will mix it differently. But for the purpose of this lesson, we are going to keep it simple and so that way we can make progress. Okay? Sorry about that, guys. Always something has to happen, right? All right, cool. So in order to make progress, I'm going to just program this and then we are going to go from there. So I'm going to take my voice out. Anytime I want you to hear me, I'll bring my voice back in. Sounds good? All right, perfect. So I'm going to take my voice out. First things first, we are going to record the strings. What strings am I using here? I'm using something called omnisphere, okay? All of you guys have heard about omnisphere, okay? And that's what I'm using, and I'm using the Hollywood strings. However, I have it layered, okay? I have it layered and mixed in a different way. So I'm using the Doc Juno pad, okay, and over the Hollywood, and then I have it lined up like this, and then I have my my main layer. I pulled up the strings ambient up, and then I pulled down the close A, okay? So that's how I did it, just to get the sound that you're hearing, okay? All right, so that's the first thing. So that is the strings part, okay? Then for the EP part, this is the strings part. So let me play a little bit so you know what I'm talking about. Let me take my voice out and play. right, again, the sound you are hearing is the studio sound. This is not the one you are used to hearing, okay? This one is the studio sound, so you can hear the actual richness of it, okay? That's why I have to do it in a weird way by switching back and forth, so that way it can be dedicated to the studio sound, okay? Cool. So that was that. And then for the EP, I use another one called Ultimate Piano. It looks like Call Chronos, kind of. There are two tones that I like in here, okay? 41 and 42. 41 sounds like this. Hear how it sounds like. Hello? Okay. So that is 42 that I played, okay? 42 that I played, okay? Now here 41. Okay, so that is that, okay? And then for the guitar, it doesn't really matter. I just pick something random. Okay, this one is from the Yamaha PSR, okay? You guys know the Yamaha PSR. I have it all the way down here. PSR 900, okay? And you can see it right here. And I'm just using the clean guitar sound from there to do that, okay? And it sounds like this. All right, I have it low and I have it panned to the left, okay? So you guys hear how that sound like? Okay, so that is that. And then for the lead, by the way, I'm using Studio One to do this, okay? Studio One. For the lead, there is this tone here called Tomita Vox, and that's what I'm using to do the lead part, okay? That sounds something like this. That's not how it sounds. I've put something on to make it sound a bit with a little bit of reverb, okay? So, but if I take it out, it sounds like this naturally. Naturally still sounds good. Okay, so that's how that sounds like, okay? That is with no severe treatment, nothing like that. All right, sounds good. So that is that. And that's it. And that's all we are going to do for this song, this thing, okay? So first things first, you're going to see me working. If you hear me playing strings, that means I'm playing strings to the song she's singing. If you hear me playing the EP, that means I'm playing EP. If you hear me playing guitar, that. If you hear me playing the lead, I'm playing that, okay? And those are all we're going to do, okay? So I'm going to take my voice out so I can concentrate and get going, okay? Sounds good? All right. Hope you guys are enjoying it and being blessed. Okay. Let's get going.
There would my battery. I am a fair to do. Dear, I am a me. There would my battery. So
let me bring my voice in a little bit, okay? So that is the strings. That's the EP. We are gonna go to the guitar, but I'm not gonna do too much with that, okay? All right.
There would my dream.
All right, I gotta make the piano and other ones go down a little bit so I can play the guitar, and then bring the guitar up so I can hear the notes. Because I have to be able to hear the notes, all right?
There would my dream. I am a fan. Dear, why am I a romantic song? Intimate harmony. Now I am saying, here I day. Oh, yeah. There would my dream. I am a fan. Now I am a provincial intimate harmony. Now I am saying, here I day. Oh, yeah. I know pay was the same job. Now was the same shepherd. Was the same day. And Yana for the ceremony. It's in the family. Now I am saying, here I day. Oh, yeah. Afisha panyamisha winyina. Amen.
All right, cool. So that was just the guitar. Now we're gonna do the last one, and then we are gonna talk about the mixing, how we deal with that. Okay. So let's do the lead this time. Whoa. Lower it a little bit. All right. All right. So let's do that real quick. Let me take my voice out.
There would my dream. I am a fan. Dear, why am I
All right, great. So I'm going to bring my voice in. This is going to be a combination of the song and my voice, so it might not sound the greatest. But after we are done, I will let you hear the thing without my voice, okay? Cool. So this is what we have so far. Okay, this is what we have so far. Okay. So first things first, I think a lot of you guys want to know really for the the strengths and the instrumentation. But I want to talk to you. If you're ever mixing a song, always treat the voice first. Then after that, you do the instruments around the voice. Okay, so that's what I do. I don't know. Some of you guys like to treat um, instruments first before voice. It's all up to you. It all depends on what kind of production it is. If it's something like worship, I like to do it this way. If it's something like somebody's song, something like that, like an original, I usually like to do the instrumentation before the voice. Okay, so it all depends on what it is. But for something like worship, I would say go for the voice first. But it doesn't matter if you decide to do the instruments first. No big deal. All right, cool. So let's mute the voice and let's listen to the instrumentation as is. Let's listen to the instrumentation as it is. Okay, we are going to listen to the instrumentation as it is. So this is the strings as it is, okay? The strings as it is. Okay. The idea here is we want the string to be centered, okay? So if you guys see the C right here where my mouse is, we want to make sure it's centered, okay? We don't want to pan something like the pads, okay? For the pads, never pan it, okay? Always keep it centered, okay? So hear how it sounds. All right, cool. So never pan it. So we are talking about panning now, okay? Now, if something like the EP, it depends. If I want the song to be heavy, sometimes I can keep it in the middle so it stands out. Listen to what I mean by that. Right now the EP is low because I like the strings, right? Listen to the EP and the strings. But watch as I gradually bring it up, watch the difference. I'm going to gradually bring it up. Watch the difference it will make. You see, it's playing in the background at the moment, okay? You guys hear it in the background? Okay. I'm going to slowly bring it up. What's the difference it will make? So, if that is the look you want, if that is the preference of color you want the strings and the EP to be like that, then you need to do something along those lines. Don't pan the EP. However, in this one, I play something called a guitar. This is how a guitar sounds like. Listen to it. We hear it. So that's called a guitar. Okay, that's a guitar. Okay, so you guys hear that guitar? So now, this is my missing concept. if you pan a guitar to the right, you're going to lose a lot of information. If you pan it to the left, you are more likely to hear more information. So in this case, if I want to create some separation, that means I'm going to put the EP to the right and the guitar to the left. Now, say if I made a mistake and put the guitar to the right, listen to how it's going to sound like. You realize that when it goes to the left, it kind of washes out. When the instrument is going, it will wash out, okay? But watch, if I take it to the left, watch what happens. Even over here, even though it's not all the way, we can still hear a good, decent amount. The point is for guitars, keep it more to the left if possible, okay? Sometimes right if you have multiple guitars, okay? But something like this one guitar, keep it to the left or center it, okay? So my concept is I want to have an even mix. So if I'm going to take my guitar to the left, maybe 50, that means I want to take my EP to the right 50. Okay, so now with the pans, okay, actually let me do it this way. Without the pans, hear how it sounds like, and then after that with the pans, hear how it sounds like. So this is without pan for both the guitar and EP. Okay, so this is just me leaving all in the center. When I leave in the center, it sounds heavy, right? But now, what's the concept that I'm talking about? With this concept here, we are going to make the guitar go left 50. We are going to make the EP go right 50. Okay? Now, if we make that go, now listen to the difference. To me, it's wider and it sounds more spreaded out, and it gives me more of a stereo feel, right? So I love something like this. So that's why I would do something like that. But again, some people like to leave it all centered. Okay. Okay, cool. So you guys get a point. So I'm going to do it like that, but then I'm going to now level it. So these meters that you're seeing here is called level. So I'm going to level it, okay, to where I want it to be. Sometimes when I want to level something, whenever I'm mixing, right, first things first is I find where I want the strings to be. Then I work in the extras because the strings is my main focus, especially for local worship. So let me just, for now, we already talked about the strings, so let me find a good medium. That's good for me. That's good for me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the EP at the level that I want it to be, okay? So listen to it. You guys hear that? You can hear it good enough. It's not too loud. It's just there, right? It's just there. Okay? So for me, I like something like this. So now that I know the level of my EP, now I'm going to take out the strings and I'm going to start working on all the instruments. No, man, no, which is basically the EP, the guitar, and the synth lead. Okay, all right. I'm going to work on all of them and balance it out. So right now I like where the EP is sitting. So now let me work in the guitar. So one thing I like to do is I like to take it all the way down, then slowly bring it in. Okay, so let's do that right now. Just with this and the strings, hear how beautiful it sounds so far. Already, right? Imagine if I was a great player. Imagine if I was a beast on the keys. This will sound too good, right? So this is what you want, okay? So now that is here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the other one, okay? So let me take out my strings again. Usually for this one, I like to do it with the strings, but for the purpose of me getting there faster and not slowing down the process, let me just do it now. Same situation. I'm going to bring it all the way down, okay? And then I'm going to bring it slowly in. So let me solo it. Let me bring it slowly in. So we are looking for the synth lead. One thing I'll tell you is that there's a mixing technique, right? Yeah, mixing a sa synth lead no and share to say the auto tenor. So the idea is to put it there so it's there but not there, you know. But if you wanted to also pan it so that it can separate itself, especially if you had a lot of things going on, you would do a hard pan all the way or almost all the way right or something like that. Sometimes left, depending. Let me show you how that looks like. So all the way right, all the way right. You guys hear it? And then all the way left. For this song we are working on right now, I prefer to keep it centered. If I wanted to make it kind of not be in the middle, then that means I might as well just leave the EP in the middle, right? So even if I wanted to pan it, I'll pan it something we call slight pan. Okay, slight pan means you are not doing a hard pan, you are doing a slight pan. Okay, so right now it's sitting in the middle. Watch me, I'm going to do a slide pan to the left and then hear how it sounds like. So right now it's middle. Then after that, I'll do the slide pan left. So right now, middle. So all the pans are about 50 and 50. 50 and 50. Okay, so I'm going to do a slide pan. So this is what I mean by slide pan. Hear it. Right now, center. This is center. I'm going to go to the left. Watch. So let's go left. Let's go 20. It's just a moderate change. Not hard, not centered, but moderate. All right, we got it. Okay. So now what we're going to do with this pan is now we are going to bring it down and work it in. We don't want it to be that loud, okay? So let's bring it down and work it in. So now let's bring the strings in together with it and let's see what we have so far. This is just panning, okay? Because that was a lot of your question about panning concept. So this is the panning concept. To me, this sounds good, okay? So now the rest of the work is your mixing skills, okay? So remember we started, let's go back to the top. We started with the strings, okay? So let's hear the strings, how it sounds like right now, okay? So now I'm gonna equalize it a little bit, and with my equalization, where is it? With my equalization, I do an equalization that looks something like this, okay? All right, that is just for this tone, by the way. And then for my compressor, let me bring it up. All right, so for my compressor, I do some compression that looks similar to this, okay? All right, so hear how it sounds like in the meters. So you see that slight movement? That's what you want. Okay, so with a little bit of compression, you guys see what we have? With a little bit of compression, we have something that sounds okay. Now, I do something that I call reverb, okay? Now, with reverb, what I do is this. I use waves to mix most of my songs. So now, with reverb, what I do is I just put in a regular reverb. If I'm doing vocals, I sometimes change this to play one, but for now, it doesn't really matter, okay? And what I do is I bus it, okay? So instead of me saying, I'm going to put my reverb directly on here and ruin the direct channel. What I do is I bus it. So when I bus it, it's going to sound like something is at the background or ambience noise, you know. So let me turn it off and then on and hear how it sounds. And I'm going to slowly bring it in so you understand what I mean. So I'm going to turn it off, then slowly work it in so you can hear it, okay? So just hear, see me. What you're going to see me do is I'm going to turn this on, then I'm going to bring this meter slowly. You see where my mouse is? This meter slowly, okay? So just watch it. Cool. And then this thing right here, you see this thing is changing. Basically, that is post fader and pre fader. It's kind of small for you guys to see, but right now this is pre fader. If I click on it and it turns orange, that means it's post fader. Okay. So if you turn it right now, if you turn it on, then it's gonna come before. If you don't, then it's going to come after the fade, okay? Does that make sense? So post fader and pre fader, meaning before the fade, that's when the effect takes place, okay? Or the effects kicks in, all right? Cool. So one more time. So you guys saw where we just went from. We went from having a very good sounding instrument to this here. So this is without all the applications of what we've done. It sounds good as is. Nothing is wrong with it. But now, watch that extra energy. Watch it. Cool. So that is that extra energy we added to it, okay? That is it. Let me move faster through the other ones, okay? So we have that, and then what else do we have? We have that. We have the EP. Okay, so the EP is not pan right, okay? So the EP has, look, because of this thing, it's not a serious mixing that I'm doing. This is just random, rough stuff. But when I'm seriously mixing, I take time to mix, okay? So it has an equalization, okay? That looks similar to this. Okay, that's the EP equalization. If I take it off, it won't sound. Okay, watch the EP. This is the EP without equalization. Without. With. Okay, with a little bit of compression. Okay, so what did you guys realize? What you guys will realize is that I have a mono compressor on. The moment I turn it on, watch what happened to the sound. It turned into mono. You don't want that with this kind of worship. You want stereo. Watch what happens. You guys hear that? It just comes in the middle, right? We don't want that. And you can tell it's mono because it says M here. And if you put it on, it says CLA3A mono. So let's remove that, okay? And then let's apply something else. We can put an SSL on, but for now, for the purpose of going fast, let me just drag this here, okay? And then let me just treat it this way, okay? So here, this is without that compressor. Yeah, this is without a compressor. This is without. Now I'm going to work the compressor in. Okay, there's different compressors that I like to use. I like to use the R compressor from Waves whenever I'm doing serious mixing. But when I'm doing quick work, I just go to the CLA just to kind of do something quick. So now you realize that now it's stereo, right? Because it says stereo, right? CLA 2A stereo. Okay, so now that mono thing is not coming anymore, right? So now let's hear both the EP and the strings. Okay, so it doesn't sound too bad. So now, how about some reverb for that, right? So listen to just the EP with the reverb that I have on. This is with reverb. Without, my advice is let it come in a little bit. Don't put it too much, okay? That's my advice. So right now you cannot hear the reverb. Why? Because it's muted, right? So I'd have to turn it on, then you can hear it easier, okay? So now here. You guys hear that big reverb, okay? Let's reduce it so that it doesn't sound that big, okay? We don't want it to be that big, okay? And then let's check the strings, because the strings, I think I had it muted at the time. Let's check the strings too. Cool. Still sounds good. Okay. And then we have that for the EP. So now let's go to the which one is this? Oh yeah, the synth lead. So let's go to the synth lead, okay? The synth lead, let's hear how it sounds like. So with that one too, you can do a mono compression. But the trick to this is, if you want your thing to sound good, try and use stereo compression so that your thing can surround. Again, this is just basic thing. If I wanted the keyboard to do some movements, I can add something like a phaser effect and also a chorus effect. This is just me doing basic EQ and compression, okay? Because I cannot do the extra stuff, okay? So just basic EQ and compression should get you a good sound, okay? All right. So let's do the compressor. So that one is good. That one is good. You know, I just want a small reaction. I don't want too much of a reaction going on, okay? For me, I look for reaction whenever I'm dealing with these compressors. Okay? There's a similar thing here. We can reduce it a little bit. So that was the EQ for that. If you want to keep it, if you don't have to use it. And then also we have to bring in the reverb, right? Big reverb. That was big reverb. So let's find the right amount. The right amount. You guys hear how beautiful that is sounding? So beautiful, right? All right, cool. So again, with the little that we've done, with basic EQs, okay, basic EQs, like we see here, all right, basic EQs, right? And then we have some basic compression, okay? So basic EQs and basic compression, and just a little bit of some bus sense, just to do some reverb work. We have something that sounds pretty acceptable, okay? Good. And just with that, you have something pretty decent, okay? So now let's hear how the instruments sound like after all the treatment with the panning, the pannings and everything. Okay, this AP here I didn't use, so it doesn't really matter. I can just bring it down so it doesn't confuse you, okay? It's just basically an acoustic piano. I just keep it in there as a template, okay? So here we go. Let's hear how this instrument sound right now after we played. Let me take my voice out so my other mic does not affect it. So we hear the reality. You guys see how beautiful that sounds so far? If you don't like the sound, let me know. Then I'll make it better. But I think you guys like. If you like it, give me a thumbs up or something so I know I'm doing a good job, right? And if I need to improve, you let me know as well. Maybe something I'm doing wrong, you can correct me. We are all here to learn. All right, cool. So just like that, with basic EQ, basic compression, just a small bus send, or effect send, we have something beautiful. You see what I'm saying? And it sounds beautiful. And now we have a good strings. We have a good EP. And the EP now with it tuned, you see, or with it treated, it sounds better. You guys hear that? You see, when we started, it didn't quite sound like this, right? But now with it treated a little bit, you see. You guys hear that? Very beautiful, you know? Beautiful, okay? Just like that, we have something very nice, okay? So just with a little treatment, guys, this is not perfect. This is just to give you the idea, okay? Especially for the guy, I forgot your name, you're on the channel. You asked how do you mix worship, okay? So this is how you do it, okay? Again, this is just the basics of it, okay? Of course, you can do more things like add chorus effects to certain instruments such as the guitar or the EP, and sometimes even a phaser to make it sound like it's doing wow type of thing, you know? Sure, you could do all that, but that's not my focus right now. My focus is to teach you the basics of mixing. EQ, compression. EQ, compression. Unless if you like doing compression and EQ, it's up to you. But EQ, compression. For me, when I'm doing vocals, I like to do a slight compression, then EQ, then do some other type of compression and other kind of treatment, and finish it off with a final compression. So at least 2 compressions for my vocals is what I do, okay? A final compressor to just bring everything up the right way, especially if you are in a studio environment where you don't really have like all the preamps and that kind of stuff, or you don't have much available to you, okay? You got to do it that way to get the best out of it, okay? Cool. So now we got something that sounds good. The next question is, we got to work on the person's voice to make sure that person's voice will sound good with this. So this is what I usually do. I never, ever, 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 ever treat my person's voice just with all the instruments. That is the last thing I do to balance it out, okay? The person's voice that I do, somebody's calling to, okay, so the person's voice that I do, what it is, I got distracted, sorry, somebody called. With the person's voice, what I do is this, okay? I basically say, let me take the strings, because I have the strings where I want it at the moment, keyword, at the moment. That means it's not the final, okay? It's not the final levels. Why? Because we are peaking bad right here. You don't want that. You want to be clean, right? Our goal is to get it somewhere at -4 or lower, somewhere between -4 to -9, -7, okay? That is our goal when we are all said and done, to have a very clean, polished mix, okay? Cool. So now that we have this done, let's bring the person's voice in, and then after that we'll treat it. Right now, we don't really need it. We don't really need the strings at the moment. We can just focus on the voice. So let's listen to the person's voice without any treatment. This is Angela. Keep in mind, she did not record this at the studio. She recorded this with her phone. So it's not going to be the greatest, okay? That's why I say I don't waste time on these type of works. I just do basic things. She's just singing on her phone, like that, okay? Oh, you guys can see, like that, okay? All right. So let's take Angela's voice and let's mix it a little bit. So with Angela's voice, let's hear it. Remember I told you guys I like to apply a first compressor. So here's my first compressor here. Okay, I usually use R comp or R vox. Okay, for something like this, I'll use R comp or R vox from Waves. However, I just feel lazy with these projects. It's because it's not serious, so I kind of just don't care. I just do whatever. So I just use the 3A mono. Okay, and the 3A mono looks like this. I'm going to bypass it for right now. Okay, I'm going to bypass it, and then I'm going to bring it on so you see how it helps it. Okay, so hear it. Okay, I'm going to bring it. Keep in mind, her phone is like stereo. So when I put a mono effect on, it's going to make it go in the center, right? Because audio voices should be mono. It should be mono, okay? So that's why I'm using a mono effect on her voice, because I want it to be sound as mono as possible, okay? So that's why I'm using a mono effect, okay? As you can see, this is CLA 3A mono, okay? So again. Remember This is perfect. It sounds it's at the right levels where I want it. I don't need to make any other tweaks, okay? So sometimes what I do with her voice is sometimes I do the gate. The gates, what it does is if there are background noise, it will get it out. So right now, let me bring it in. I'm going to bypass it. I'm going to play, then I'm going to let it get an effect and see how it's going to help her voice or not help her voice. You tell for yourself. You hear there's a lot of and something at the back, right? So the goal is to use the gate to kind of reduce that thing, okay? And if it's not working, just don't use the gate. The idea for recording is always record right, so you don't have to get yourself in complicated situations like this. Unfortunately for this, she doesn't have to worry about that because this is her weekly assignment and she can do it whenever she get the chance, wherever she is. So it doesn't really matter. But for you, as a professional engineer, as a professional musician, as a professional recorder, record right, okay? So what you guys will realize is the more I try to use it, the more it cuts her voice and the more it starts to sound so artificial, right? So this is why I say you use your ears to see if it helps or it doesn't. So every mixing will vary. For me personally, what I would say is for something like this, I don't care. But for professional recording in an actual microphone, it will actually respond the right way. Okay, for now, it will not respond the right way because hers is not a professional recording, okay? But for now, let's take it out, okay? I don't think we need it. You guys hear that, right? Those static stuff, right? So that's why I say use your ears and then make the best judgment. For me, I don't think I need it, so I'm not going to worry about it. So now, the other thing is the auto-tune, if you wanted to add some auto-tune to make it sound a bit nice. So she's singing in the key of D, so I'm going to bring my auto-tune and show you how that works. So you guys know what auto-tune is, right? Let me take this off, and then let me bring it to major, and then let me set the key to D. Right now, when you are doing it, it's going to sound like this. The way I do auto-tune is this. I always want to see how it's really reacting, so I will push the retune speed all the way to 0 so I can really hear the effect, right? But for now, it's not in the right key, so it's going to sound bad, but it's okay. I'm going to fix it to the actual key D. I just want you to hear it out of the box. So we realize that it's not in the right key, right? So we got to put her in the right key to D, and then let's see how she sounds now. Cool. So for me, once I do that, then I use flex tune to kind of compensate for a lot of the retune speed. So what flex tune is going to do is this. So when you do the retune speed, it's going to make it sound like that type of T-Pain, Lil Wayne type of voice thing, right? So you're going to use the flex tune to kind of smoothen it, okay? So you're going to use it to smoothen it. So now, let me do it while it's actually she's singing, so that way you understand better. So what you realize is the more the flex tune is down here, the more the effect takes place. But the more the flex tune gets up, the less the effect takes place, especially when on the high notes, okay? So we're going to bring it somewhere right here for now. Then this humanize here, what it is pretty much we want it to sound as normal as a human being singing. Okay, we don't want it to sound like, oh, it's a toy singing, right? So you're going to use the humanize to make it like a human singing. Okay, because you don't want people to hear her and be like, oh man, she doesn't have, it's like she's using a fake voice, because she can sing, but you are treating her voice. Okay, so there's more things we could do to her voice, but I just don't have time for that. We can do flex tune and actually go in there and treat stuff, especially if she doesn't sing right, but this is okay, right? So watch what the humanize is going to do. So it makes it more humanized, right? However, you don't want to do all of it, right? So for me, I try and do somewhere between here and here, between halfway, sometimes maybe here and here. And if I want to hear more of the auto tune, I bring it down a little bit here, okay? So for now, let's put it here. Let's put it here, and I think it's good. You don't want too much of, we say too much of everything is not good, right? Exactly that, okay? So now that everything is done, now what I would now do is, now I would now treat the retune speed to the right place it needs to be. I know it's not supposed to be 0, okay? Because she can sing. You're only going to do that to people who cannot sing or whatever. So I'm going to find a good balance to what makes her voice sweet, the sweet spot. The point is, the more retune speed, the more you hear the effect. The less you hear it, okay? And for some people, you just don't need it. And for some people, you want to keep it up here somewhere so you can barely hear it, okay? Cool. So for her, what we're going to do is we're going to start from up, and we're going to start from high, and we're going to go downwards till we find it, okay? I know hers is between 12 and 7 or something like that, somewhere between this area, but I want you to hear it yourself, okay? Oh, the gate is on. Let's take the gate off. No wonder I'm hearing that sound. I like her at 12. I like her at 12. She sounds okay at 12, okay? So at 12, she sounds good. So that's what auto-tune does. Auto-tune just kind of treat her voice. Again, I can go into graph mode, okay, and actually do more things. But again, that's not the purpose of this lesson. If you want to learn more about that, go on YouTube and learn all that stuff, okay? Cool. And again, I can take it to dominant, treat her throat and all that stuff. I don't have time for that right now. For auto-tune, I just do basic things. These are the basic wheels I work with, okay? I don't really mess with it, okay? That's it. All right. So I see Isaac Boache, thumbs up, Lupski Studio, very nice. God bless you all, brothers. You know, so once you do that and you just treat her voice, now remember I said I don't like to bring the strings. This is where the strings is going to come in. But before the strings come in, I got to do her reverb, right? So you see I have something here called V verb and I verb. What that means is the V verb is for the vocal and the I verb is for the instruments. You never want to, let me tell you a trick. Me, when I'm feeling lazy, I just create one reverb and I send everything to that reverb, right? But that's not what you want, because if you do that, everything is going to be playing on that one single reverb. So for example, if I play this instrument reverb, you're going to hear all the instruments. Watch. You're going to hear all the instruments, their reverb. Watch. You see? This is all the reverb. All of it. This is all the instruments reverb. This is not the actual stuff, because I've soloed just the reverb. You see that? So this is just the reverb alone. You guys see that? So the point is, if you do that, her voice is also going to go there. So what I do is I split that reverb and I send it there. So you would usually want to do this for backing vocals, okay? Especially for backing vocals, you create a VCA group or like a, how do you call it? A group, you know, it's a subgroup, or put them all in a group and then but send it like a bus. You know, you have the FX send, you have the bus send, you have the VCA, okay? And I'm sure there are other type of techniques. So for example, in my program, here are my sends, okay? I have the bus, the FX, okay? And I know I have it for instruments, instruments to, where is it? It's somewhere around, you know. I can create VCA, yeah, I can create VCA sends too. All right, cool. And then of course you see I have a delay. Delay. However, I'm not going to be using it. I don't need it. Right? So what am I saying here? Let's turn on this and let's turn on this. Okay, so that's her voice. No reverb at this moment. I'm going to slowly bring the reverb, okay? So the reverb is going to come slowly. All right, cool. So now the other thing that I like to do is I like to do the delay for the worship, right? Some people like to do the stereo delay. What the stereo delay will do is it will make it look like it's going left and right, left and right, left and right. For me personally, I like it, but sometimes I really don't like it. So I just do a bus send and then just put a delay there, right? So this is why this delay is right here, okay? So this delay is there for that purpose, okay? And right now I have something on called groove delay. I'm just trying it out. I barely ever use it. This is not what I use. Okay, it's called groove delay from the default program. But what I usually use is called H delay. H delay, okay? And what I usually do is this. Sometimes I don't want it wet. Most people like it wet. I don't like it wet. Sometimes I will actually send it backwards like this so it can sound as dry. So when that extra voice comes, it will not sound like it's wet. It will sound like it's actually the voice. You hear the actual tone, right? I like to do it that way sometimes. Not all the time I want it wet. So that is one of the tricks that I use for this, right? And then, of course, you set this to wherever you need it at, usually somewhere within this region based on what you want to hear, okay? And, of course, the feedback, the more you put in, the more you're going to hear. So you want to take it down as possible. Not zero, but just down as possible. And that's basically the basics to the H delay. All right, for now, I have it turned off. Let's see how this one sounds like and then go from there. I'm going to work in the delay. So one of the things you realize is this delay thing that I'm doing seems to have some type of reverb, right? And we can find out that by coming to here. You see how it has the wet here? The mix here. Sometimes that can have some reverbish type. So you might need to go there and clean it up. For now, I don't care. I'm just going to lower it so it doesn't affect what I'm doing, okay? So just find a good medium and go with that, okay? And again, you don't want too much of it to distract the ears of your listeners. All right, cool. So at this point, now that I have that, okay, I'm going to turn everything on here. Then I'm going to turn on my strings. Then what I'm going to do is I'm now going to bring this all the way down and I'm going to work it in. So you see how I worked all the others in? Now I'm going to work the voice in so that I can find the voice at the sweet spot so that it's not too loud. Because some people might be like, oh, I need to hear the voice. Put it all the way here, and now you have this. And you cannot even hear the beauty of the music, right? And it will be so badly mixed, right? And so what I would rather do is I would take it all the way down. Then I would want to bring it in so that it matches with my strings. I don't care about the extra instruments at this point. All I care about is my strings when it comes to local worship. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring it in so that it fits in. It fits in with that strings. Okay, not too much, not too low, just good enough. Okay, so that's what I do. So let's see it. Okay, so you guys hear how it sounds right now? It sounds so powerful. Remember, she's not singing from a microphone. Imagine if she was singing from a microphone. It would be sick. It would be ridiculous. It would be sweet. But she's not. She's just singing. I give them weekly assignments. All they got to do is put the phone on them and just sing whatever song they want to sing and send it to me. So technically, it's not really. Actually, let me show you guys because I want you guys to understand what this is all about. Okay, so I give them weekly assignments, okay, and this is what they do. You see that? You see what they are doing there? That's exactly what they do. Okay, so she's just singing like that. So it's not like in the studio, right? And I'm just adding stuff to it to make it sound nice and we post. Okay, that's what we do every week. Okay, cool. So we do that for all our artists, you know, just to keep them busy and keep them engaged and that kind of thing, right? Sure. So now that we have it here, what are we going to do now? We are going to unsolo all these and let everything play. And we are going to see now what do we need to tweak. See, if everything was done right, it should sound pretty good. If certain things are not done right, then we got to tweak it. Then we are going to do a final thing that I'll explain to you shortly. Sorry, I had it muted. Is something muted? Okay, strings. Okay, cool. All right. So one of the things I'll tell you is when it comes to Ghana worship, I always want my strengths to stand out, right? So if I know that when I did these two, I was okay with it. Maybe if I feel like I need to bring it up, it's a tad bit, maybe. Okay, so now, if I know that I'm good with that, and some way, somehow, it doesn't sound balanced, what I'm going to do is, all these instruments that I said, I'm going to group them and bring them down, okay? So watch how that works. So, although we are doing this, guess what else we are watching out for? We are watching out for this nasty number here. You see this nasty number here, 31 red? It's horrible, 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 horrible. Where did I say we want to get it to? We want to get it to -5, -4, or -7, -9, okay? This is horrible for the output. If you're giving it to a mastering engineer, you're gonna kill their ears, and you're gonna really give them a lot of work, okay? And they would have to put some type of limiter, or some type of compressor to compress it down, all kinds of stuff. You don't want that, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure it's where we want it. Between -7, -9 to -4. That's where we want, okay? All right. So let's try and target for that. At the same time, we want to make sure it sounds balanced, okay? All right. So that's what we are doing here. So you see how we have all these three selected? Now we are going to have it all selected now. This one don't count because we didn't do anything. So that's why I have it all the way down, okay? So now we're going to bring it down gradually until this number stop going to the reds, okay? So let's see. Remember, we want to get -4, between -7, -9 to -4, okay? Somewhere between there. So right now we are doing a good job. It's a -9, so we can increase it a little bit, okay? We are -7, -6, -9. Okay, we can take it up a little bit, okay? It's fine. Okay, -5, -4, -3. So we are picking somewhere around -5 to -4, that area. This is where we want to be. Okay, so now you hear how clean it is. Why are we doing this? We are trying to leave room for the final gain staging or the mastering stage or something like that, okay? Let me see. Did somebody ask a question? Please, can you use it at church service on Sunday by applying effects on vocals? Yes. Loops keys. Yes. So with this template that I've done, you can just save it, and when you go to church, all you do is you just open your laptop. So you know how like some people are doing like the you see how Joe Metal and them, they are always doing the concerts and there's always a laptop on the stage. Yeah, that's what they do. So you basically have some people have patches and different kind of things, and then you just put your own effects and all that stuff on it. So that way, the moment you go, you just load it up and you just play, so that you don't have to worry about it every time. They do it all the time. So yes, you can do the same thing and save your own settings and all that stuff. You can save your own templates, make it into a patch, make it into your own instrument. The moment you load it, all the effects come, all that stuff is there. And then even some people have like a way to assign that instrument to a button on their controller. So it's like so versatile. So once you clean it up, you can just use it any way you want, right? So that's a very good question, brother Lupski's Studio. Yep. All right, cool. So now that we have it like this and it's so clean, let's hear it one more time a little bit, and then we will make sure that it's good, and then it's also not peaking red. Remember, it was peaking red, -36. Now let's see if it's peaking anymore. So one of the things I like to do is for the voice, because nothing is in the beginning, and I know it's not perfect audio, I just cut it off. Just a little bit. You see how that per. So now I'm going to let it fade into her voice. Okay, let it fade into her voice. You guys saw that? It just went fine. Okay, better than the p. All right, cool. So now that we have that, let's get out, and then let's come and do her end. Okay, so her end too. Let's hear how it sounds. Oh.
Amen. Afisha panyamisha unyina. Amen. Afisha panyamisha unyina. Amen.
Okay, perfect. So now you see what we have done. All we have done is we have basically made her voice sound better. Sorry, not better like making it better, but better as in letting it work the right way without all this noise. You know, these extra noises. Okay. Cool. So now let's hear it without. Let's hear it and see if we are doing all right with the levels. We gotta watch. We are always watching here. This is where we are watching to make sure it doesn't peak red. Okay. So while we are watching for it, something you are going to ask yourself is, now that I am almost where I am at, am I hearing everything that I played? If you're not hearing everything that you have played, that means something is wrong somewhere. Certain things need to be tweaked, okay? If you are hearing me right, I think we can safely say we are not quite hearing the ones we took lower down. And so we got to find a way to individually work those in so we can hear it a little bit, okay? So let's hear. So one way we can think of it is this. We can think of the strings and the EP like the first process so we can hear it. And then bring it up a little bit. And then maybe the guitar. Keep in mind, the guitar is hidden. Why? Because it doesn't have any processing on it. You guys see that? Okay, so that is part of why. You know, I was talking so fast I didn't even pay attention. But for now, let's just put. I don't really got time for this, so let's let's just put some stereo thing there. Let's see something. Yeah, let's put the EP thing there. Cool, and then let me just tweak the guitar. Okay, so let me just do the guitar and the strings, so that way I can fix it. Okay, a lesson here. Now that I'm doing the guitar, which one do you think I have to send it to? Should I send it to the V verb or the I verb? Remember we talked about it? If you said V verb, you're wrong. If you said I verb, you're right. Why? Because I stand for instrument, okay? I explained that earlier, okay? So don't send it to the V verb, send it to the I verb. Okay, now let's work that guitar thing in. So while you are doing this, be careful not to get ahead of yourself, or you're going to mess up the mix again and get back into the rest, because we are going to have to do that thing again. So it's like a back and forth thing. Okay, I think we are good. Let's hear how it all sounds together. Okay.
Dear woody mother tree,
We are still doing a good job.
dear
-4. So even with this treatment, we are still doing a good job. You see, that's what's important to understand the steps and the process of how this works, okay? Realize that we are still not getting in the res, which is a very good thing.
Dear woody mother tree, dear
So one of the things you have to say is, when everything is playing, can you hear all the vocal effects the way you want to hear it, right? Can you hear the delay? Can you hear the reverb, okay? You might need to tweak that a little bit, okay? So that's what I'm about to do here.
Dear woody mother tree, dear
So one of the things you guys will realize I'm doing is this. You see, whenever I bring the effects up, I just want to hear it more than I pull it back, right? Because you don't want to do it so much that you really mess the thing up, right? So don't overdo.
Dear woody mother tree,
you guys hear how her voice sounds like? We went from this to that. This is how it sounded before.
Dear woody mother tree,
Hey, the guitar is on V verb. We made a mistake. That's not supposed to be V verb. Let's remove. It's supposed to be I verb. Okay, cool. Now we are good. All right, good. All right, so Let's hear it. You see, so you guys see that thing I said? If you put it there, the guitar will come there. I said about the voice. That's what happened. So we went from ah. Okay. You guys hear how it sounds? So we went from this original to this. Okay, you guys got it? All right. It doesn't mean she cannot sing. She can. It's just that I'm just pointing it out to you so you know the cleanup we did, okay? Oh, the guitar was soloed up here. That's why. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this real quick. So now this is it. You are done at this point because everything checks. We are not peaking. We have the numbers we want, and it sounds balanced to us, right? So at this point, what we are going to do is do something we call export, okay? So you're going to export not the stems, but the mix down. Stems will be individual tracks. So you're going to export the mix down, okay? Now the way you are going to export is this. For me, I know what I'm doing here. So I'm going to call this A mix. A stands for Angela, by the way. All right. All right, whatever. Desktop. A mix. Okay. Oh. What is it saying? It's not the desktop. You know what? Let's do it this way. All right. It's rather this A mix. All right. I'm still getting used to Studio One. All right. And then because we are about to master, okay, we are about to master it so that we get the best out of what we have done. We are not going to do MP3. We're going to do AIF or Wave. Either one is fine. For me, I work with Wave. Then we are going to set it to 24-bit because it's not the final export. Then we are going to keep it at 44.1. If you want to do 48, that's fine, but then you have to export it back out at 44.1. For me, I don't see a big deal keeping it there, so I'm going to leave it like that. Between loop, I have a loop here, so I'm going to do between loop, okay? And then I'm going to just leave the rest the same, okay? And I've already sent it where I want it to go. It's going to go to this folder on my desktop, okay? And I'm going to call it AMix, AMix, okay? So now I'm going to click OK. And it's going to, right now, it's moving here. So you guys see it says clipping has occurred, all right, by 0.90 dB over. Okay, so you want to make sure there are no clipping, but I'll fix it in mastering. No big deal. So now that we are done, what I like to do is I like to save the work and delete everything because it's the assignment every week. So I just save this as a template, and then I just save the work, okay? So now what I do here is I'm going to go to File, New Project, okay? And then it's going to bring me a project file, and I'm just going to call it A Master, okay? I just want you to get the point, okay? This is just basic so you get the point. All right, A Master, and I'm going to just send it to where I want it. And then I'm going to keep it like that, and it's going to give me this window, okay? So that's basically me about to master it, right? So the first thing I'm going to do here is I have to import the file, okay? You can right click and import. You can go to file, where is it at? Project import file, okay? Same thing. Another thing you can do is you can put the artist name, the album name, and these kind of details. I don't have time for that. It's not necessary. It's not an actual song. It's just her assignment. Okay, so here, you see Amex. I'm going to bring it in. So once I bring it in, it's going to put it at the bottom, okay? And I'm going to just zoom in. Okay, so you see there's a fade here. I'm just going to fade it out, okay? And then there's a fade in the beginning. I'm going to fade it a little bit, okay? Just to get some fades done, okay? All right, you guys see that? Cool. So let me go back out, come here, go in. Bam. We're good. So now I'm going to do my loop. I'm going to do my loop. Okay.
Dear woody mulberry tree, dear woody mulberry tree, dear, dear woody mulberry tree, dear woody mulberry tree, dear me, a bromantas. Dear woody mulberry tree, mulberry tree, dear woody.
All right, all I'm doing is I'm just doing the fades.
Dear woody mulberry, dear woody mulberry tree, dear woody mulberry tree, dear woody mulberry tree, dear, dear woody mulberry tree. Dear,
All right, so now,
dear woody mulberry tree.
okay, so now that I have that done, okay, there are a lot of things you got to understand about mastering, okay? I'm not really going to go in detail because it's going to take forever for me to explain certain things, but the basics of it is this, okay? You want to make sure that you are looking at your meters here to make sure that you are, getting certain numbers, you are getting certain numbers. That's one. You want to make sure your master meter is not peaking and your insert meter is not peaking. So the question here is, if you have a song, you see when I'm playing, there's a 0 here. It shouldn't pass that 0, okay? If it passes that 0, we got ourselves a problem. Okay? If we pass that 0, the moment we pass that 0, we got a big problem. So make sure you stay under the 0. For something like this, I don't care. It doesn't have to be at 0 exact. As long as it stay anywhere here, I'm fine. I just don't want it to be above 0, okay? So for me personally, this is what I'm going to tell you. For something like this, I don't take time to say I'm going to add coloration and all that. But just so you understand, I'm going to teach you all that stuff, okay? So you go to your master meter, okay? And I'm just going to let it play. So this is what's going to happen. I'm going to apply. So you realize that it said I was peaking, right? Let's see if I'm actually peaking. It doesn't look like I'm peaking, right? But in a situation, if you were peaking, what are you going to do? Well, here's what you're going to do. You're going to use something like this. You're going to use something like Q1 stereo, okay? This here, okay? So I'm going to play it and I'm going to tell you what it does. All I'm going to do is I'm going to click in the middle and I'm going to drag it. And watch, the meter is going to keep coming down, okay? So watch. You guys saw that? So if you are ever mastering and you have a bad mix and you have to reduce it, you can use something like the Q1. For this, I'm not going to use it because I know why I wanted the numbers I wanted. So all I'm going to tell you here is this. You always want your limiter to be the last thing on your mastering chain. Okay? Your limiter should be the last thing on your mastering chain. What are some of the things you will use in mastering? You use something like equalizer, even sometimes some type of coloration to add color. Maybe some tape saturation, okay? So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to use tape saturation and mastering. Limiter. That's it, okay? Tape saturation. I have one called KJ or something, JK. I always forget to. K37. Massa, let me just type tape. Oh, I always forget. Let me go look for it. It's KJ or something. KJ or JK, whatever. It's not, it doesn't have, there you go, J37 stereo, okay? Why wasn't that polling? Okay, so this is tape saturation, okay? So now with this tape saturation, what I'm going to do with this is this. All you want is you want to get some warmth with the mix, okay? And so for me personally, I can come in here and pick whatever speed I wanted to respond and all this stuff and all this stuff. But what I simply do is this. I simply basically find one that I like, okay? Usually I use one of these. I use wide open, mastering, open here. Sometimes this, sometimes this. So usually these, okay? So I usually use one of these, okay? So let's see how it sounds naturally without it and then with it right now. So now I'm going to do the one I like and then let's hear how it sounds.
nhyira wo nyinaa. Amen.
Okay, so what I do is I add a little bit of tape saturation, okay? Then after that, I tweak it by moving some of these until I hear what I want to hear. Sometimes take out a little bit of the fluttering and then, the noise and stuff like that. And then even the saturation, okay? So I do that, but for now, I'm just going to keep it like this. I don't always use it, but I just want you to get an idea of what you want to do in mastering, okay?
There would
All right, so let's do our limiter. So for limiter, one of the common ones a lot of people like is the L2. Okay, the L2 is very nice. It's been there for a while, but there's a few reasons why people might not like it because of some disadvantages it may have, but a lot of people love L2 for many years, okay? So let's see how L2 sounds just right now. That's not what I'm going to use. I just want to show you, okay? So what is the point of a limiter, okay? So the point of the limiter is this. You are going to basically put your out ceiling to the number you want it at. If I don't want it to peak above 0, I'm going to put it at 0. If I want to compensate for possibility of some leaking past 0, sometimes some people might do like this, negative 0.1. Negative 0.1. So people might do that. Some people might even come as low as negative 0.5. Okay? Okay, it's all up to you how you want to do it. But in our Ghanaian music, a lot of our people like Yebe what you say. And so what you got to do is leave it at 0, okay? And then bring it down. But however, if you have a bad mix, try and just reduce it a little bit. Even to -1 is not bad. And then work with this. So the point is we set the out ceiling, then we take the threshold to the farthest we want it to go. What do I look for when I'm pulling down? What I look for is as I'm pulling down, this is my formula for all these years whenever I'm using a limiter. I set my out ceiling here, my output ceiling here to 0. Then I work my threshold. But the key for my threshold is I want to make sure that my attenuation is coming through to the extent that it doesn't get distorted the more I pull it. And so I find that anywhere between, somewhere between the 6 year to the 12, this box here, the 6 to the 12 year is a sweet spot for me. That is my goal with a mixer. At the same time too, I make sure that because I'm going to export in 16-bit, I change this bit here to 16. Then I change this to none. Then I change this to none. Because those are data noise and some noise that you might not want, okay? Because the limiter brings noise. Okay, that's why when you're about to hear a song, it goes like, then the song comes, okay? So you want to make sure you compensate for that, okay? So if I'm going to use this limiter, these are the rules that I've explained to you. So now let my voice go so that I can use it. And with the same concept, before I go, before I take my voice out, with the same concept, I'm going to use the L3 limiter. That's what I like to use. And I'm going to use the multi-maximizer. Okay, this is what I'm going to be using. Okay. And so if I use the same concept, out ceiling is here, threshold is here, and attenuation is here. And that's the same concept. And then also, same 10, 16, none, none. Sometimes you can do normal if you want. By me, I just put it at none. Okay, based on certain things I learned. And then also, if you were doing like an actual song and there was a bass kick and all that, you can also work with the channel here to make sure that it's responding you are setting certain priorities for the low range, the whatever priority where you want more priority at. That when you set the priority there, it doesn't compress as much doing that place, and then you can mess with these things to really get it where you need it to be. Okay, so that's one, and then there's the low latency one, which is also good too. Okay, the low latency ones are good. It's not bad. Is this the Ultra Master? No, not the Ultra. Not the Ultra. The low latency. Low latency. All right, low latency. L3. Okay, LL. Low latency, and I think is the multi one. Yep, multi, right? So this one too is not too bad either, okay? If you want to work with it. It's similar to the one I use, except I use the actual full thing, not the low latency, okay? So not a bad one to use, okay? So I'm going to delete that, and then I'm going to take this limiter off. Then we are going to start with the L2. Then you hear how the L2 sounds. Then after that, I'll turn off the L2. Then I'll turn on the L3, and you hear how the L3 also sounds, okay? So only one at a time can come on. So for now, let's turn off the L3. Let's turn on the L2, okay? And now let's work our magic. So I'm going to take my voice out, and so you can hear it better, okay?
There would my dream, I am a feather. Dear, I am a broken chassis, so it's in me. Panyamisha mwina, amen. Now I am insane. Nyamisha nyinaa.
All right, great. I don't know what you guys observed, okay? But one thing I observed is this, okay? So if you listen to the L2 compressor, the L2 compressor sounds like right in your face, okay? And then the L3 compressor sounds like it's how do you call it? It's open, you know? So L2 sounds like it's in your face. The L3 sounds like it's open. My advice to you is this: anytime you're trying to get a mastering session going, and if you don't really understand how to really work with this here, because there's a lot I can do, but I just don't care for a recording like this. Because, for example, you see over here, there's a lot of activity going on, and so it compresses it more to make up for the muddiness and stuff like that, right? So if I wanted to say that place was important to me and I wanted to put priority there, that means I would have to come and put a higher priority so it doesn't do it as much. So an example would be like this. You know, if I put a higher priority, it wouldn't compress it so much over there, okay? And then it will compress it at other places. So let me give you an example. So an example is here. Do you see how like the thing changed? The thing that was like a U, the shape has changed because at first it was all here, but you see when I put a priority, it's running away and it's kind of going to other places to make the mess, right? You see when I'm putting more priority, it keeps going up. You see it? All right, but that's not what I want to do. It's fine as is. So I'm just going to set it back to 0. Set it back to 0. Okay, and there's more things you could do. You could actually move these around and do more things. All right, so that you can get certain frequencies, compressed the right way. Okay. Again, not everybody likes to do a multi-band limiter. Not everybody likes that, but for me, I don't have any problem working with that. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I know a lot of you will probably like the L2 better than L3. I like the L3. It just sounds much cleaner, in my opinion. All right, let's listen to it one more time. For the sake of time, I'm just going to go with the 3 because that's what I use for all my productions. Right, I actually have a mixing session tomorrow, so I might bring that live also. I might bring that live. I have a mixing. It's not a song. It's one of my artist songs. So her, Angela, the person singing, one of the songs that we had her do for mashup. So I might bring that live if I have the time. If not, then I won't be able to. But anyways, cool. So this sounds very good. I think so. So now, once you're done, we know we are not. It seems like it's a lot going here, but you see, we are not peaking above 0, and that is the purpose of the limiter. Okay. Now, with all these things going on. There are other things that you could also, other bars you could read. Okay, this is the peak and the RMS. Okay, but there are other things you could read too. Okay, I think the K12. This is based on the peak and RMS. The K14, I think, is a good one to also read as well.
There would a tree, I am a feather, dear, I am a bromancy so it's in now I am insane.
So you guys see, when I was doing the peak RMS, it's loud enough, it's cool. But with the K14, what it does is it helps you to know the areas where it's really bleeding. Okay, my advice is it's not like the red is bad though. It's not. It's just an idea. You see, when you get to the 12, it means it's clipping. Okay, that's all it means. You know, here. So I'm not even at the clipping line yet, okay? When I get here, that means I'm clipping, okay? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce it a little bit just to help me out with the K14 reads, okay? So I think it's a good read to help you. All right, cool. I mean, it's fine. It's okay. All right. And that is a good way of seeing some reads to see where your song is and where it's All right, cool. So now that we are done, we are going to go to our why do I always go keep going to file? No project. No, 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 no. Oh, so in this one, they call it digital release. Okay, it's right here. I'm still getting used to Studio One. Digital release. It's weird, right? If you want to burn it to a CD, you click this one, and then you're gonna put in a CD and burn it. But if that's not the case, you're gonna do digital release. Okay, then it's gonna bring the stuff you want up. Okay, AMX. Okay, we are gonna pick the location we want it at. We want it in the same folder where we are doing all this. Okay, then we are gonna call the file. Location is there. Oh, the file is just going to be whatever the name is, Amex. Okay. So so if you don't want to do it like that, what you need to do is come here. Come here. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? And just change it to maybe A master or something. Okay. All right, A master. All right. I don't want to put all this stuff in, but if you are doing somebody's song, consider doing that, okay? So now it's going to say A master, okay? And now I put it in that same folder. Yeah. And then I'm going to do wave. Then I'm going to do 16-bit. Then I'm going to keep it here. All right. That is for final export for digital distribution. Then after that, I'm gonna click do not, make sure it's do not publish. And then I'm gonna click OK, and it's gonna cycle through and do a stand. And hopefully we are not clipping, but it may bring us that we are clipping. Good, we are not clipping. Perfect. Good, and we are good to go. So after that, you can save your master so you can come back in it and do some work later if you ever want to, okay? Did I have a question? Please kindly leave this tutorial on the channel. Great work, God bless you. All right, I'll make sure it's there. Isaac Boache, I will make sure it's there. All right, cool. So I'm now going to close the project. I don't think I need to come and do anything. But now that it's been saved, you see now it's here, right? So it does the M3U and the wave, right? I just want the wave, so I'm just going to delete the M3U, okay? And then I'm just going to cut this. And then I'm just going to paste it here. So now I have A mix, A master, okay? A mix, A master. So now I'm going to open A mix.
There would my tree. There would.
So now let's listen to the difference, okay? I'm going to take my voice out. Let's listen to the difference between the mix and the master, okay? Let's listen to the difference, okay? So let me take my voice out. First, I'm going to play the mix a little bit, then I'm going to play the master a little bit. So this is going to be the mix that we are going to play first.
There would my tree. I am a fed door. Dear, I am a bromance, so it's in a poverty. Now I am there would my tree. I am a fed door. Dear, I am a bromance, so it's in a poverty. Now I am
All right, and we can hear the difference between the mix and the master. What we can hear is the mix sounds good, okay? The master just is like a gain staging thing. It's just bringing the gain up, that kind of thing, while not distorting, okay? So I hope this helped you. For the brother that asked if I could show how we mix worship, okay? This is literally how we do it. This is just one way, by the way. There are other ways where we play the string. Then after that, we'll play like the single string, like 1, 1, 1, 1, maybe one left, one right. Then we have to do the panning according to that concept, okay? I think I responded to your message, so you should read it and understand that. But this also should help you get the idea. And anybody that wants to learn mixing, this should really help you as well. And tomorrow, I will do another mixing session. I will try and do it live. I'll try and do it live, okay? It's basically a mashup of Angela, the same girl that I'm mixing today. She's doing a mashup of what is that song? Fabi biara mano, kama fu nyame obeka ma that song. So who wasem ka unyame could be my wo. I'll be mixing it live. I will not be mixing it live, but I'm going to bring it live so it helps you. So tomorrow, if you want to join for that broadcast, whenever you see the channel live, just tune in, because that is going to be the only thing. If I decide to come live, that's the only thing I'm going to be coming live for. If I don't come live, it's just going to be movies. For those of you guys that like watching our movies and stuff like that, okay? Good. So with that said, if you have any questions, you can ask. If not, that will be it, all right? If you don't hear my voice again, thank you for joining, and I hope you were blessed and you learned a lot today, okay? We took our precious time to go over this so it helps you, so you understand how to mix the song and how to pick the right tones. The key words is, if you want to get it to sound great, like some of the great songs you have heard, make sure the keyboard player is good. He plays better than me, okay? That's one. Make sure that the tones that you are selecting is good too. And even if you are selecting not so much good tones, know how to treat it to make it sound good, okay? So that is the two, good tones, right? Then the third thing is to make sure you understand the mixing concept, okay? Or basically treat your instruments, okay? Treat your instruments well, with the right things. Like I said, a basic compression, a basic equalization, and a basic bus send or a basic reverb, even if you put it directly on the channel and you reduce it, should sound good. It doesn't have to always be bust. I'm the one who like to do that. But you can actually put it on the channel and it sounds great. All you got to do is reduce it more so that it doesn't affect the natural tone, okay? So even with the idea of basic compression, basic equalization, basic compression, and then basic reverb or something like that, you should get going, okay? So I hope you got all those fundamentals, and of course the rest of it is just you using your ears to do the rest of the work, okay? So I hope it helped you and you got all these tips down, okay? All right, well guys, I'm going to play the song. It's only 2 minutes, so I'm just going to play it entirely, what we have done today. I'm going to play it entirely so you can enjoy it, and then after that, when it's finished, I'll be out of your way. I'll just turn off the camera, all right? All right, so let's listen to it for the last time. First things first, I'm not going to save this project, so I'm going to close it. I don't need it, all right? And then I'm going to just play it for you, okay? So I'm just going to play it for you. All right. So, guys, if you don't hear my voice, thank you for joining and remain blessed, okay? I'm going to play the song for you, and then that'll be the end of the broadcast. See you in the next lesson. Again, tomorrow, I'll try and bring the mixing live. If not, I'll be doing it privately. All right. Remain blessed. Bye-bye.
There would my dream, I am a feather. Dear, I am a bromantic so intimate public. Now I am insane.
hyɛ apanyame nhyira wo nyinaa amen.